Hi, it's exciting to be at BA this morning, and I'm even more excited to have this conversation with Mike Weiss, a remarkable entrepreneur I've known for 6-7 years, and he's done a lot of exciting things in that time, but the one he's currently involved in is, in my opinion, potentially the most exciting yet. So fun to have a little conversation about that this morning and figure out what you're up to here. So, Mike, and you've got it right on your hat,
Yes.
Voice ROI. Tell us what this is and how this came about.
Yes, Voice ROI, we are a voice-based AI system. So we work with small business owners, doctors, dentists, lawyers, accountants, and home service-based companies like HVAC and those type of companies. And we help them relieve a lot of what we call the natural handbrake in business, which we can get into in a second. But the bottom line, there's a lot of friction points in business, and by using the new technology of voice AI, which is basically AI that's programmed to have intelligent conversations attached to a knowledge base, be super helpful, book appointments and live transfers, we can make a big impact in a lot of people's companies.
I'm curious about why so much of this is centered on voice. I know there are good reasons, but tell me a little bit about this.
Well, it's for the last basically 100 years or more, we've been really focused with two kind of major friction points for business. One is business revolves around humans, so we have sort of a human limitation. And the second part, which is very interesting, and most people don't realize, is that we're locked in to do business at the speed of typing.
Right.
So for most people, I mean, I type probably 30, 35 words a minute, but I make a lot of mistakes, so I'm back and forth. Some people are typing with 2 fingers. So in this day and age where we are so connected to computers or a phone or iPads, and most business is done in some capacity where you're taking notes or CRMs or corporate files or whatever it might be. So you're locked in with one, you're only operating at the speed of type, which is 20, 30 words a minute. And then it's very difficult to duplicate your human force, whether it's the sales force or people that are at the front desk operating, the phone systems. So what happens is that because people aren't scalable, if, for instance, you do an advertising campaign and you hit it, and all of a sudden you're getting normally 1 or 2 calls an hour, that's okay. Your person can handle that. But if you're getting 10 calls simultaneous, then what happens?
You miss a few.
You miss a few,
More than
and you miss actually a big chance at an ROI. So when we look at why now voice, because it breaks these 2 barriers, these chains that small businesses had been really we've been contracted because we can't scale humans. We just end up missing conversations.
No, we could try.
What's that?
We could try.
Well, here's a perfect example. Danielle, who's our chief sales officer, who's in dental ran a dental division, $30 million division for 20 years. She was at a very successful dentist up in New Hampshire, and with the office manager, and it's a big practice, and they have 5 people in the front desk.
5 full-time, right
Yes.
there on the phones.
Right there on the phones, and she was walking around with the dentist, and all of a sudden, there was 5 people on the phones, and the phones were ringing. And she looked at him, and he looked at her, and he was just like, I don't know what's going on here. So after they went back into his office to talk about voice AI, she said, how did that make you feel? And he staggered for a second. He just I was just in shock. Because I'm working so hard to create operations and processes and systems so we can, maybe those were customers, maybe those were new business. And the phones just rang. So the reason why voice AI is so powerful is because it's infinitely scalable. We solve the human problem because voice AI, one agent, one basically digital person can handle 500 simultaneous calls. Let me just say that again. Can handle 500 simultaneous calls. So when we're going to install maybe for nights and weekends for an organization, or then maybe it's going to be full time, the voice AI, one digital person can handle infinite calls. So there goes that handbrake. That's relief.
Right.
The second part
Uh-huh.
is we just spent 20 to 40 words a minute typing, but we speak at 140 to 160 words per minute.
Yes.
That's 4 to 6 times the speed of type, as we
Right.
like to say. So my prediction is in the next 2 to 3 or 4 years, globally, we're going to see an increase in productivity by 2 to 4x, because all communication for us with every technical device is all going to voice. Now,
That's amazing.
and you might think this is new. You might think that, right?
I might, but I think that it's not, but I think that the quality has gotten substantially better in this last
Correct.
period of time.
Because how long has Siri been around? Hopefully
Oh,
Siri doesn't turn on
plenty
the
long.
phone.
Plenty long, and how many times have we told jokes about this? And it's a point of hilarity in some cases.
And Alexa.
Yes.
And we're talking with our cars now. So the voice is not new.
Right.
What's new is the last 2 years, the radical improvement in AI in every spectrum, which is now allowing voice to do things at a level of expertise and a quality that it's never been happened before. So now we're taking that opportunity and now we're deploying that.
And I'm amazed. I was hearing last night just that conversation that Caroline, your team member and your wife, but that she was having this conversation in real time that we were hearing, and the accents, the nature, everything of it was just right on. This was a fluid conversation. This was not a conversation with any kind of recorded technology. It was real.
Yes. So from a quality perspective, there are basically 2 components where in the past, and we've been at this now for 16 months, so a lot has changed in the last 16 months. There's 2 components, 2 qualities of the call. There's the response time from when I say something and then it gets translated from words into text, into AI, into prompts, response, back, text to voice. That's response time. And then the second component is the quality of the voice. So both of these are collapsing, meaning that the speed of response, it's actually now they have the speed of response amazingly, because if you understand it's measured in milliseconds, it can respond faster than humans respond naturally, but they haven't released it yet. And then the quality of the voice, it's near impossible with some of the stuff that hasn't been released to actually determine whether this is a voice AI or not. The quality is so good that in 3 or 6 months, these 2 factors that have been kind of the things that have held people back from stepping in won't exist.
So these digital workers are truly digital workers that can either be your front line or can assist, can meld in, and that is astonishing. And you and I were talking about the Harvard Business Review research that came out actually through one of my clients in 2011. All of the research that is just phenomenally showing why the first person to respond to that phone call gets the deal. So, and how many calls never get returned at all. Even more, in the 15 years since that research was conducted, that the statistics have not changed much at all. Wow.
Wow is right. And that data point, probably the reason why that company was so successful, and I actually know the company, they were very successful, is because they recognized the trend when they started that company that hadn't changed in probably the prior 10 or 15 years.
That's right.
So you're looking at probably at least 15 to 20, 25 years where we call them friction points. This one friction point is sometimes called the speed to lead, or it's your response time. And the reality is that that number we saw, which was 10 or 15 years ago, that it's actually worse today. And I don't know the data specifically, but the reason why it's worse today is because the expectation of the potential buyer is much higher today, because everything is moving so quickly. we're able to get, things in response times, and now everyone has access to AI. So we're expecting to have, results quicker, communication faster. And bottom line is that there was a move over the last 20 years to go offshore with all this kind of customer support. And it's a calamity for businesses because they only cared about the bottom line and they sacrifice quality. And so this is now shifted, and people now are expecting. No one wants to go to a phone tree. You've been, in a phone tree with a bank. Oh, what department? Oh, business. Okay, give me all your information. Great. Then 5 minutes later, oh, you're in the wrong department. Let me transfer you. Wait, don't transfer me. Put my information to that person. No, sorry, it's a different department.
You dread it.
It can't happen. Like, this is ripe for disruption.
That's right.
And so,
can we offer this to my internet provider? Just wondering.
So we're focusing on the small business market,
Right.
but yes, it has to happen at enterprise.
It does.
And the data, actually, there's some forward thinking. Maybe it's Wells Fargo, one of the banks. I just looked at some of their data, and their ranking for their scores for customer support is up like 400% because they actually have gotten rid of phone trees, and they are using in some capacity the voice AI stuff.
Beautiful.
And the question is, well, why is voice AI, able to create a better relationship? And the reason why is it's intelligent. First of all, it understands, what you're asking, and it's looking based on how it's programmed to actually meet an objective. So depending on your objective, and if you understand as a service provider voice AI and how to create a well-run and a consistent and a reliable voice AI, then every time it's handling and doing its job, that digital person has one job, it's measured to the outcome of that job. And then the beautiful thing about the voice AI is that it gets infinitely better because it
teaches itself.
It teaches itself. And the customer also, we actually rate our calls red, yellow, green. So on the back end, the customer gets to see the transcript and the recording and the ratings. We want in the beginning reds. And the reason why is because all we do is figure out what do we need to add into the knowledge base, and it will never make that mistake again. So it's fascinating where we are right now with all AI. I mean, what's going to happen in the medical industry? I mean, it's just...
But to bring it into these sectors, so it's quite interesting that rather than going for enterprise, or going for enterprise first, you're going into these vertical sectors. So talk to me a little bit about that. I know you've got several case studies done. Dental is one of the initial beachheads. I'd like to hear more about that.
Yes. So dental, there's a woman who is now Danielle, who's our chief sales officer. We met here
A fellow member of BA.
Met here at Board of Advisors.
Yes, which is significant.
9 months ago. And she had, and I didn't know this, but she had been running the Northeast division for International Dental Supply Company, $25-30 million division for 20-something years.
Right.
Rock star. And then she retired, and she's doing leadership and also sales consulting. So when we met, I met her with her husband, and we started talking about, my background is digital marketing. We have an agency, and particularly in LinkedIn, we started talking about all this LinkedIn stuff, and I was like, sure, I can help you. And I'm like, well, what's your backstory? And she said, dental. And I said, oh, my dad was a dentist for 41 years. So we started speaking about the LinkedIn stuff, and then at that moment, I kind of knew there was an opening to share what I was working on. And this is 6 months ago, so we had been
This has gone fast.
We had been working on it for 8 months
fast.
already.
Yes.
And then when I began to talk about voice AI and how I felt personally, having my dad been a dentist for 41 years, my mom in and out of the office, we had a home office. So for the first 4 or 5 years of my life, we were attached to the office. I was in the office a lot. And I just saw people running back and forth for phones, and phones ringing off the hook, and there's chaos. So I shared this, what I was working on, and she's like, oh my God.
There's a fit.
The dental industry. So this has now become an amazing relationship at a board of advisors that she's become the chief sales officer. She's an investor in the company with a husband who's wonderful. And we have decided that we're going right in to the dental market. And in fact, she had, which was amazing, she led with her, one of her top salespeople, the first really big meeting with a major dentist. That's not only a dentist, he's a lecturer and a speaker, he's an influencer. And that meeting was only supposed to last for like roughly 45 minutes. It went for an hour and 15 minutes. I was kind of waiting because she said, when I come out, I'll just let you know, I'll call you what's going on. And I'm saying to myself, I don't know if it's good or bad if it's taking so long.
Apparently it was good.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. It's one thing that we're going to focus in dental, but what I know from working with the same small business sector for the vast majority of my career is that there's really 5 key friction points.
Right.
That maybe not all 5 affect every business, but definitely 1, 2, or 3 can affect almost every business.
And you address them all.
And so when she saw the phone ringing, and the guy's like, what's going on here? And they went back to the office, and she asked him, well, what was going on and how did it make you feel? That was an opening to one of the major friction points, which is being able to handle in the inbound calls. And like I mentioned, most every small business, doctors, dentists, lawyers, med spas, home service business, we use the phone.
We do.
And so,
well, in fact, just give me a quick overview. What are the verticals you've already got participation in? Because I know there are quite a few.
Yes, so dental is going to be a really big one for us. HVAC, same. Home services is even, they live and die more by the phone than traditional service-based companies. Like accountants, they got to pick up the phone because they want new business. But they're not typically emergencies that someone's trying to get something resolved.
Like plumbing.
When you move into home services, roofing, plumbing,
the emergencies,
HVAC, especially in the South, and now we got these heat waves. Like they're calling in, it might be 100 degrees in the house. So there's no allegiance when someone wants a problem solved. They're going on Google
now,
starting to call
now,
and whoever picks up the phone and is going to give a reasonable response and can get someone out to give a reasonable quote and has good reviews, has got the deal. So with the home service, the HVAC and the plumbing, we have another customer with plumbing. It's crucial, and for the most part, there's how do you solve the inbound call process? Again, for the last 100 years, you're limited to the speed of type, and humans aren't scalable. So if you're an HVAC company doing $1 million or $2 million, like you can't have just 5 people waiting because you might get 5 calls at the same time. Like it doesn't make sense to run your business like that. Yet you're paying $1,000 or $2,000 a month for SEO, $1,000 or $2,000 a month for pay-per-click and maybe Facebook and Instagram ads. So you're investing. You have to invest because you need to be found and you need to advertise. Yet if you think about all the dollars spent on advertising, and then you think how few calls you get, and of the calls that you get, you can't answer every single one.
That's a problem.
That's a shame. And not to mention, the great people that are working for you, they have a life. So they're working 9 to 5 and they're not working weekends and they got to take vacation and maybe they're out sick. And so you bring someone else that normally doesn't answer the phone. They're not very good at lead qualification. And they actually send out one of your techs out on a job. And it's like, oh, we don't even do this job. Right? It's like something with a burner and we don't do burners.
That's tragic.
So this is why I'm so excited.
I know.
Because we can make such an impact for small businesses. We can help them make more money. We can help them reduce costs. And the one part that I'm very excited about is also, free up a lot of their time.
Well, in the past several weeks especially, it seems like everyone you've spoken to has wanted to be involved. So for people who want to get involved, besides acting quickly, what are the ways they can participate?
So they can find us at voiceroi.com. This is a great place to find us. You can find me on LinkedIn. So
Can't miss you on LinkedIn.
Can't miss me on LinkedIn. So yes, Mike Weiss on LinkedIn. You'll see I'm wearing a hat like this, and with this name, we've we run an agency, so we have 22 or 23,000 people on LinkedIn. Great place. Everyone should be on LinkedIn, I think, personally. So those are the 2 ways. working with you, another
course.
BA, a great engagement.
In fact, it'd be interesting to count how many of your partnerships have emanated out of BA, and I suspect it's a high number.
Well, let me just, let's not keep it in the closet, let's bring it out. So we have you and Danielle and Dima. So shout out to Dima and his programming team. He's got 300 people, and he's been at it for 20-something years, and they've done a few thousand customers. And this is interesting. So, I've been building software for the last 10 years, and I've basically had a lot of offshore programming teams, and they're fine. Pakistan and India, some in the Philippines, and but you get what you pay for. And if you're self-funding, it's kind of this kind of catch-22. It's like, okay, I'm self-funding, which means I don't have a ton of money, and so I'm looking to do things, less expensive, and at the same time, you're getting a little less quality. So Dima, I've known about this, I guess the same time as you, about 6 some odd years.
Yeah.
And we've been, same thing with you. We've been talking for years.
Well, 6-7 years to become an overnight success. That's generally how it works.
Yeah, so we've been talking for years.
That's right.
And so basically, Dima was so excited about what we're doing. So not only, yes, we're a paying customer, but also he's taken an equity interest in us as well. And I had a meeting a few weeks ago, and we have a team. We've got a set of like 8 people, like this whole hierarchy.
Dan Locke.
I just want to get this one piece in with Dima's team. But so we have this whole hierarchy. There's like 8 in different levels, and we have UI, UX, and all this. It's amazing. And we had such an amazing meeting a few weeks ago. And I told them, and my wife was on the call, and some of the other people that were on the call. I said, we've had a 10 out of 10 meeting. And they were like, oh, well, why is that? And I said, it's a 10 out of 10 meeting because everyone's bringing such expertise and value that as we kept working through this problem and the situation, we had so many different perspectives that we ended up, by the end of the meeting, coming out with a solution that's world class. So then I got off and I told Dima, because you're the CEO of a company, you don't know what's happening. It's got 300 employees, you don't know what's happening, but I had to tell him. He's a friend.
Yeah.
So Dima, I had just had a 10 out of 10 meeting. And he's like, why? And I told him, he's like, oh my God, help me figure out a way to convey that, because I know we do such a good job. So shout out to Dima. There you go, Dima.
And Dan Locke. That's quite exciting.
Oh, Dan Locke. Yeah, so he was in Board of Advisors. He took a little vacation. He's back in Board of Advisors. So I've known him. Oh, he's such a good guy, and he's got a great personality, and one of the best on YouTube, long form, short form content, advertising, everything. So we got connected, and I shared what we're doing with the Voice AI, and then he shared his new project, and immediately he's like, oh my God, like he gets it, because he's an expert in marketing and client acquisition. And if the more you sit in those sort of shoes, you realize like, oh my God, this is a gigantic revolution. This technology is going to shift everything, and it will, and it is. And so anyway, we formed a partnership. He's an investor. We're going to be working with his company.
That's great.
And also Stan. Yesterday, Stan said he's in. We're going to figure out what capacity he's in. He's going to be, what was the way he looked at it?
Tell us who Stan is.
Stan is one of the smartest attorneys.
Stan Padgett.
Yes, one of the smartest attorneys, one of the no-nonsense, tell it like it is, like I love that I'm from New York, tell it like it is guy that will keep your butt out of trouble. So I told him where we're at,
great. And
I spoke to him 6 months ago, and he gave me some great advice, and I said, okay, now we're raising money. We're raising $2 million. We're well on our way. So now I'm like, all right, I want you to be involved. Outside counsel, that's what he said. He said, great. Got it. This sounds amazing. The way you can look at me is your outside counsel.
And he'll be a fine example for the legal sector, where I'm sure this is equally important.
The legal sector is big. So one of the big strategies that we do have talking about these channels is going through channel partners. So Danielle is taking us through dental. We have an amazing HVAC veteran for 30 years, has been a consultant in that business. He has a lot of customers. He consults from growing their business. He's friends with a lot of the vendors in that space. So we're going through HVAC, and then the law is going to be big. We have a partner that does a lot of work with the tort law industry and also personal injury. So we've had a bunch of really good conversations there. But yeah, so Stan's great because legal's great. So I don't know, we're leaving some people out, but
We probably are, but you'll publish it.
yeah, the objective, just so you know, and if you're watching this and you're a BA member, then you know this is true. But if you're watching this and you're not a BA member, then one of the most amazing aspects of BA is the people and the community. So my son's here. This is the first time he's here. He's 7. So the first time we got invited was with by Jerry Conti and his wife, who I've known since 2012.
Right.
Amazing. They said, hey, you got to come check this out. So I was like, oh my God, another mastermind. I'm in so many masterminds. I built a mastermind with John Asseroff. I've just been in so many of these things, and it's a lot of traveling and blah, blah, blah. And I said, all right, if you say it's good, I'll come. So I came with my wife. She was pregnant. And, you know,
And
Mike.
you've been here ever since.
Mike is our fearless leader, you know.
Mike Calhoun.
Yeah, Mike Calhoun. You know, the first 10 minutes, he's like, what do you think? The first half hour, he's, what do you think? He's like, this is good, isn't it? What do you think? The first day, what do you think? The second day, I had the bear hug. And it's this loving, sweet, tough grip. He's like, all right, tell me what you really think. And I said, you know, look, content's great. I've been digital marketing for 20 years. I don't really know if I need that much more information. I said, but we're in. And the reason why we're in is because of the people. And this is held to be true. It's 7 years, so a little guy is 7. We just brought him back. I used to bring him when we pushed the cart around for the first couple quarters.
And these are the people who are now your team.
These are the people that are my best friends.
Yes.
Oh, Benjamin Lee. How can we forget Benjamin?
Of course, Benjamin.
So these are like some of my closest
in the
friends.
healthcare space.
Yes, in the healthcare
Health
space.
and wellness.
So not only are these some of my closest friends, but now I have an opportunity to make this a collaborative effort. The opportunity is really, really big, as you know. We're building this to scale it and sell it. And, you know, it's an opportunity to be surrounded with friends that have, high degree of expertise in areas that can actually add a massive value. We meet quarterly, so what better way to build a company that you get to meet quarterly and
I love that aspect.
and collaborate with the people that are clients and customers.
One trip does it all.
One trip does it all, and yeah, it's and Mike and now Jimmy and his team are on board of advisors.
The expanded group, the expanded focus.
Yeah, Jimmy
the
Ralph.
Regional events.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Jimmy Ralph, I've known for a very long time. So if you're listening to this and you're not part of Board of Advisors, it's definitely worth a call. Reach out to Mike, and this community it's a real community.
And for Voice ROI, they should reach out to you. That's their next step.
Voice
Since we're
ROI.
running out of time, we've got to make certain everybody gets connected with you, whether they're a case study, whether they want to invest, anything involved. This is the source.
VoiceROI.com. You can find me there. You can find me on LinkedIn. Yes, this is the time. This is really the time. If you're in business and you're hearing this for the first time, then we're happy to do a free consultation. There's basically 5 areas that you might be challenged. We call them 5 friction points. We can go over all the 5, and you can be like nodding your head and saying that one yes, that one no, and we'll share what Voice AI can do to help you grow sales, reduce expenses, and then create more free time, which is really
Make your business better.
that's what it's all about.
Great. Thank you.
Thank
This has been
you.
Great.
Amazing. Thank you.